right off the bat, we have a little movie that, like Zach mentioned, we're going to be getting into more spoilers, but it's the thumbnail. You got to discuss what is the Marvel Cinematic Event for indie people. I know you were seeing that viral tweet that was going out where these people were lining up for hours for the pop-up shop, bro. Y'all are supreme fans for this.
Mm-hmm.
You stand
honestly, I considered it for a second until I realized like this is going to be the Criterion mobile closet, but maybe worse.
I was about to say, bro, they are just baiting y'all with cheese out here, and everyone falls for it.
Yeah,
but I got to see the lineup, and I got to see some people do the actual Criterion closet.
Yeah.
I mean, don't make fun of Marvel fans. Everyone's got the little needs, and that's kind of cool, bro. I can see why people waited.
Yeah, it's cute. It's just not the kind of thing that I'm personally going to spend my whole Sunday.
We hate lines. That's the problem.
Yeah. I mean, I could do a small line, but anything over an hour, unless I'm getting some like Leroy and Lewis at the end of it, is like pretty tough.
That's different. Yeah, that's different. The brutalist line was different. Those are different things. But Anora clearly has been the film lovers movie that they've had on their radar. Please don't tell me you got a film strip, bro. I will smack you.
Yeah, man. You know me. I got two.
Whoa.
Here you go. I'm handing it.
Hold on, let me get it over here. Hold on, let me put you full frame because only some theaters were doing it.
Yeah.
Wait, what is that?
It's got a little nifty case for it too, and it's the
baby.
Yeah. No, it's not like a scene from the film. It's just a bunch of a few different frames. You got like the title card frame in there. You might be able to see against my hand.
Yeah, focus it in more. Get closer.
Okay,
zoom in micro.
Damn. Can we? You want to take? I'll get Caitlin to do the cam op, and let's zoom in on this tight. Beautiful. Let's refocus. This
is the whole movie, right? This is the first act. If you can just roll the film.
We'll just do a plot breakdown from my frames. There we go.
From the frames. All right, so we're going frame by every frame of painting right here. The first one, as you can see here. Well, what are the scenes supposed to be? From what moments? Because
that title card of Anora. The second one is her blowing a bubblegum bubble.
It's my favorite scene.
I honestly don't even remember what part that's from. There's a shot of her and Timothée Chalamet walking through New York.
He could have won the lookalike contest.
There's a part in the Las Vegas pool.
Great scene.
There's a shot here, I think, when they first pull up to the casino, and there's another shot when they're walking in front of the roller coaster.
Ooh, the roller coaster one. Oh, that was a good shot right there.
Staten Island.
On Caitlin.
Coney
Thank
Island?
you, Caitlin. Thank you,
Coney
Caitlin.
Island. Thank you for the clutch camera work, Caitlin.
Great camera work. We are now getting informed. Copyright stricken.
Oh no!
Oh no! Copyright stricken. 35 millimeter right there. No, that's dope, dude. For the music box, it was. Where'd you get yours? Because music box was first 50 in line. I was too busy. I couldn't go.
Lincoln Center had plenty. They were asking us to take more on the way out. Now the thing is, they didn't have the posters, which I was hoping for. But I got a film strip. This film strip's
dope, bro. The film strip's incredible.
Actually, not that it is Anora specifically, but shout out film at Lincoln Center. I did walk home with a little extra merch. You might need to zoom out the camera for this part. I ended up.
Boy,
with the Kinds of Kindness standee, the one that has all the different small faces of or Photoshop faces of Jesse and Emma and the gang.
Did you leave with that damn pumpkin too?
Oh no, this is just to get in the season.
Okay. Sick. Does he get the stand at the back?
Yeah, I'm gonna cover up the holdovers you gave me, I think, for a little bit. If it'll stay. There we go.
Crazy.
Anora.
Okay. Lincoln Center. We have found some great things at Lincoln Center.
Right? Shout out Lincoln Center.
Pages in the garbage can, and it was like a full. They just threw it away. But yes, Anora, the newest film from Sean Baker, a standout performance from Mikey Madison, and one of the funniest. And I don't know if you felt this as well, because I had a lot of dudes come out of the screening who came out and called it the coziest film of the year. I don't know if it's because of the snow. I don't know. It's because, they were at the music box, whatever it is. But that's when I started thinking, I was like, yo, to a lot of people, this is the holdovers for sex workers.
Interesting. I mean, that wasn't my takeaway from the film, but I guess I see it because there is kind of like a nice.
You had a stunted. sex worker trying to make it to the next bit. There's snow. They've been held over until they can finally be released. A lot of people came out feeling like this was a almost like a rom-com.
Yeah, I think the like really quick synopsis that I've seen a lot of people use is that it starts as Pretty Woman and it turns into Uncut Gems. And like the Pretty Woman thing is definitely there because it's the whole thing of like the sex worker who's sort of like wooed into the life of this rich person. Here it's a, you know, young New Yorker played by Mikey Madison being wooed by this Russian socialite who's looks strikingly like Timothy Chalamet. What's the dude's name? It's like Mark Edelstein, something like that. He's fantastic in the movie.
In real life, I'm not sure, but he reminded me also of that kid from the Jennifer Lawrence movie. He was in SNL also.
Oh, Andrew Barth Feldman. Yeah, he looks kind of like a cross between Chalamet and Feldman for sure.
Yeah. I would say definitely the look from Chalamet, but I think he's almost as funny as Feldman because there was a lot of stuff that he does in this movie, little flips in his bedroom and stuff like that. Turns out they were ad-libbed. And I'm like, all right, bro, you got it in you. He speaks a lot like his character in interviews. Yeah,
I mean, he's just sort of got this like wild, like recluse nature to him. Is a little bit unpredictable, a little bit hard to handle, which fits the character perfectly because he is this, you know, young rich kid who's kind of has the world at his fingers because he has this money and can go on these extravagant trips and splash money and impress his escort girlfriend for the week. But
and it's not his; it's his rich daddy's.
Exactly.
The difference comes in because he never goes to work, which means she always gets to party with him.
And until things sort of come to a screeching halt. And, you know, I thought it was really another fascinating job by Sean Baker here. He kind of has this returning fascination with not only sex workers, but I think just sort of showing a more humanistic, nuanced side to slices of society that are often considered to be like seedy or the realm of people who have bad morals. And it's not a morality tale, right? This is just like a matter of survival and getting through the day from these disparate characters. And I think one thing that I always love is just those details, all the really lived in nuances that he's able to stuff into these movies in ways that make you feel like you're seeing these characters portrayed for the first time.
Yeah, I agree because you look at the stuff that he's made, like you were saying, it's a slice of life. He's not necessarily trying to hone in on these people and study them for any other thing than what they are, how they're living, how they're surviving. And in a lot of the interviews, he's mentioned like sex work has been a part of like honestly, his entire run almost. And I'm sure like with our boy, and I got him right behind, what's his name? Ari Aster, right? Man can't make a movie showcases mommy issues without people saying you got mommy issues. Over here, you know, a lot has been brought up of like, you know, you really geared towards the sex workers. And as he has mentioned, he wants to make his stories about people who aren't necessarily given the spotlight, or even more than that, when they are shown, it's in a completely twisted way. And I think he's been able to humanize a lot of his characters, you know, even with the Florida Project one where, you know, you watch it and you have a lot of opinions on the mom, but he's showcasing to you what it's like to be in the perspective of that little girl whose mom does what she needs to do to survive. In Tangerine, the same way, shooting that on an iPhone to be able to catch the grittiness of these underground trans sex workers. Red Rocket. Bro, I'm going to tell you right now, because I know we're going to get a deeper review, so I don't want to get too into it. I think Red Rocket still may be his best movie. As vile as I thought that dude was, I like Anora more. But watching Anora almost made me respect the swings he took in Red Rocket.
I think that ultimately Red Rocket, and I even think a lot of his previous films, there's just a little more on his mind. There's a little more in the movie in terms of like commentary on America, on these transactional relationships, on the nature of being like a hustler or a grifter, particularly in Red Rocket. Whereas Anora to me feels a lot more like straight entertainment, like a good time. And there are things on Anora's mind as well. I think it has a lot to say about class in particular and the way that class is really codified in America America. And, you know, this is in a way a story about a girl who thinks that she's ascending into a class that she didn't think she could touch, and the
Yeah.
world reminding her that you are not part of that elite group. But at the same time, it is a little bit, I don't know, maybe there's a little less beneath the surface, but a lot more just like fun to be had with Anora. I found myself laughing like almost constantly with this movie. There's a scene in the middle particularly that is just nonstop hysterics that I could have just stayed in that room for a whole hour and a half. But
I almost felt like they were to keep you there.
Yeah. So yeah, for me, I still would put like Red Rocket above this one, maybe even Tangerine and Starlet as well. But really? I still think Anora is fantastic.
Yeah. Anora is, I think, my favorite of his. Like, in terms of all of his movies, I'm like, yeah,
nice.
That's the one that I would recommend. That's the one that I would pick. But in terms of filmmaking and the such, I still think the swings he took in Red Rocket definitely were big. And, you know, I realized the man kind of looked like Kill Tony the more you look at it now.
I saw that he brought back one of the actresses from Red Rocket, the one who sort of plays like the second level drug dealer in Red Rocket is one of the bouncers in the strip club in Anora. I forget the actress's name.
Yeah, because she's got that the push and pull with Anora.
Yeah,
where she's yeah. No, she was good. She reminded me of what's her name, who sings "Ooh." I don't remember that song.
I do.
You know what I'm talking about?
Yeah, I do. I know exactly.
I don't know why I'm blinking.
Yeah,
something about, but yeah, she was good in the movie too. Even what's his name? I want to make sure I pull up the right guy. It wasn't Igor, but bro, shout out Igor. Compartment Number. It took me until the end of the movie to realize, bro, that's where you're from. You made one of my favorite movies of that year. In Compartment Number 6, definitely check it out. But it was in particular. Let me make sure I find him. Do you remember the name of the main guy who's he's baptizing the baby?
Oh, shoot, is that Paul Weissman or Lindsay? I'm not sure. The whole Armenian crew was particularly great in this film.
And that was another thing too, that you got this like push and pull between not knowing what language that they're speaking. And I wish they did the pachinko thing. I think that model of the color of the subtitles really adds to you as a viewer if you don't know when they're switching between the two of them. Especially the way language plays a role in it.
Yeah.
But
Amanda was mentioning this when she had caught it out of TIFF, but one of the fun things that this movie does is because a lot of the movie is in Russian and in English, that you have Mikey Madison's Anora yelling things in English while other people are trying to have conversations in Russian. So you can both hear and read the subtitles at the same time and see all the different layers of conversation being had. It works really well.
Yeah, it's one to definitely rewatch.
Yeah.
But I believe one of the again, I wouldn't know, but I believe one of the characters said that they were also speaking Armenian. So there's supposed to be this push and pull. Because he had mentioned, he was like, we filmed this a long time ago, so we got Ukrainians in here as well with the Russians, and that the whole bit came out. I finally found the guy because him and his buddy, like this guy Karen Karagulian, they've been making movies forever together. He's been in like all of them, down from I think maybe Starlet, but I know Tangerine for sure.
Yeah, he was the Starlet cab driver in Tangerine, I believe.
Yeah, and I think he's come back to play multiple roles because in Florida Project he plays Narik, and I think he was Narik before, or it was on one of these. He like plays the same character that he did in one of the previous movies.
Interesting.
Or I think it might have been here, Arash, and then he comes back as Arash in Red Rocket. So he's got some really cool stuff in the background happening as well. But he had said that the main reason that they made this movie is because they wanted to do a Coney Island type movie focusing on the Russian community that was there.
Yeah.
And then it accidentally became Anora. But we'll discuss all this and more in our spoiler discussion. If you're tuned in, we're going to be doing that in our Patreon live stream. We'll post it live later. But look, on a rewatch for Anora, I might give 4.5 stars. If I go back and they have more of those film strips, I might give it that extra half star because I got to see it digitally, but I know that they're pushing the 35 millimeter.
Yeah.
You saw it in 35?
I did see it in 35. That's where they were giving out the film strips for. Yeah, I mean, look, Sean Baker, I think he's always a filmmaker who has a really keen visual eye and is able to just like make these incredible just these he has so much life to how he films things. There's a lot of movement, there's a lot of energy, and this is a movie that really matches that well. And to see it in 35 looked great.
Definitely catch it in theaters. If you can go to the merch shop, whenever it drops around you, go and do that as well. But let us know your thoughts down below. I guess we'll end it with the main thing. You see it securing Best Picture? I know it's a big thing for people.
Yeah, so I think people are not only saying that this is going to be a Best Picture nominee, but people are already like saying this might win. And in some ways I see it because, you know, I feel like a lot of times,
I guess, right?
Yeah, it got the Palm at Cannes.
Yeah.
And it also, like, I think sometimes what happens in the Oscars particular is there'll be a film, you know, we saw this with Christopher Nolan, although Nolan's at a different phase of his career than Sean Baker, but sometimes a filmmaker sort of works enough that they gain a reputation as like one of the true artists that like the right movie comes and everybody's ready to give them their flowers. And I think that kind of is this moment with Sean Baker, where a lot of people know what Sean Baker's deal is, and maybe you don't like respond to all the films he's made, but he's made one that is just like undeniably fun and entertaining and a wild ride. And I think that, you know, it'll hopefully be embraced. I would predict right now it's probably the front runner for Best Picture, but I don't know if I feel like
runner. Wow.
I don't know if I'd bet on it. It's Brutalist is still out there.
Well, look, I think both of them securing nominations for sure. I just, you know me, if we're waking up at 7 o'clock that morning, 6 o'clock, whatever the damn hour is, I just want it to be good nominees. I want to look at that list of 10, 5, whatever they end up doing this year, and just be like, I am proud to have lived in a year where we got to experience those movies. Anora is definitely one of them. We'll probably save the 30-minute discussion on Sean Baker's politics for the spoiler review, but other than that, definitely check out Anora when it comes out near you. Definitely worth it.
Shout out to Abby in the live stream who said he saw Once Upon a Time in Hollywood in Mikey Madison's filmography, but can't remember what part she played there. She played a pretty integral part. Yeah, and she was kind of on fire in that movie. But it's funny both because literally and metaphorically.
I remember when it came out, when we covered it, we're like, oh yeah, we know all these people, right? It's like this man just knows how to get all of the tiny people. Then a year after, right? What's his name gets Austin Butler gets whatever, and they're like, yo, the people from Once Upon a Time in Hollywood. And then the year after that, this year, everyone just took the bit and like really wrote it. And it's so funny because they'll copy the same pictures of Mikey Madison. What's her name from Euphoria? Sydney
Sweeney,
Margot
Qualley,
and Margaret Qualley.
Yeah.
And they'll all, like, one person will reinvigorate that, and then everybody goes, bro, did you miss this? Did you miss this? Yes, that was the whole point of Once Upon a Time in Hollywood. Did you miss that? It's the new taking over the old.
Yeah.
Hey, aging very well right there. Yeah, might have to watch that movie again. But in the meantime, we got Anora out in theaters, and besides Best Picture, definitely best performance so far, in my opinion, top of the year. And even some of the supporting ones too, I thought they were fantastic.
There's a performance that I have ahead of hers, but I'll bring that up when we get to it because I know you saw it at Chicago.
Wow, The Apprentice was that good for you, huh?